And of course, we continue our celebration of luminaries as the This Day Board of Editors last night wrapped up the unveiling of winners and nominees ahead of its awards of commemoration built to hold end of January by announcing more crucial categories of recipients. On the list of the Lifetime Achievement Awards are former Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, Aloma Mariam Mukhtar Jikon, accomplished lawyer, entrepreneur and politician, Senator Daisy Danjuma, who represented Edo South Senatorial District in the Senate from 2003 to 2007. Another recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award is the current chairman of Africa Prudential PLC, a member of the Nigerian Bar Association, Eniola Fadayomi. She is also the principal partner of Ms. Fadayomi & Co., the chairperson and publisher of the Guardian newspapers. Lady Maiden Ibru is also on the list, along with the former Minister of Foreign Affairs of Nigeria, Mohammed Hayatuddin, and Hajia Inakiroma were winners in this category. The expansion of the Lifetime Achievement Award recipients has become crucial given the role played by some women who have emerged winners in this all-important category. So there we have it, continuing to unveil these pace setters, luminaries. Lifetime Achievement Award is a very special category, isn't it?
It is, and you know, the different winners and nominees are being unveiled, and I love the suspense created by this day. Of course, it will all culminate on the awards night on the 27th of January, so just a few more days to go when these awardees would actually have the opportunity to receive their laurel in person and their award in person. Hopefully we can see as many of them as possible. I think from the beginning of the year, since nominations closed and winners were announced, we've been revealing and unveiling in bits and pieces. And it's just great to see the names of people. Remember, the theme of this award is when the going gets tough, the tough get rewarded. We've all acknowledged that 2024 was quite that kind of year. It was tough. Let's be honest. Let's be, very frank, for individuals, for businesses, for different people in society. So just to see those who spearheaded change, those who have been working for a long time, and that's why I particularly love the Lifetime Achievement Award. So you see people who have perhaps been working silently and haven't had the opportunity to really get the recognition that they deserve. And now is the time for them, their day in the sun, their day on the platform, to really say thank you and to recognize them for the great work they've been doing. Some of them are quiet, silent movers and shakers, people who have influenced, society in many ways. Might not see their names on the big billboards or big headlines, but in their own way, they have been just so, so instrumental and so, influential in the way things are done. I'm glad about Miss Fadayomi. She has worked tirelessly in the business community for so many years. Yeah, that's her right there. And just to see her being rewarded, one of the women who has championed other businesses for male and female people, amazing to see that. Senator Daisy Danjuma is another person on the list. She served as a senator in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and also beyond that, her philanthropic endeavors, her work in the marketplace, her work in the boardroom, in sitting on a number of boards. It's just great to see Lady Maiden Ibru, how fitting. She just celebrated her 70th last year. 75th. 75th. She looks younger than I was. 60 would have been more fitting, but 75th birthday, and just to see she's a media giant, and you don't see a lot of, female proprietresses when it comes to newspaper media. So it's so great to see her being awarded Lifetime Achievement Award. She's currently the chairperson of the Guardian group. I love that the Tigress group, the female basketball group that did us really proud, are also being rewarded. And also that's Senator Daisy Danjuma, right, that's spoken about her. So it's great to see all these people. Of course, this has been a topic of conversation, and so as many, if not all, award ceremonies. People would agree, some people would not agree. People would think different, some people think, it should have been this. And that's why we asked people to send in their nominations. Recall that it was an open process, which was then adjudicated over by the This Day Board of Editors, based on expertise on the board. But we had called for nominations so that the process would be as inclusive as possible. And so to see also the game changers, and each of them have a reason why they're chosen as game changers. Many of them are in government, and we have some governors, Prince Dakwa Abiodun, for the way he's increased IGR in the state of Ogun State. I think it's important that we also spotlight and shine the light on these subnationals. So for those who are doing work, it is a reward for hard work, but it's also an encouragement for others to do more and also emulate some of the great strides that these people have made. So congratulations to all the winners, to all the nominees. On the night, we'll see who's going to emerge for in those categories. But really great to see. my own governor, Governor Sanwo-Olu, the Blue Rail Line, he's been called Mr. Infrastructure, Mr. Talk and Do in Lagos, you know. So it's great to see that he's also being recognized. He's in another category as well. So, you know, congratulations to him, congratulations to Lagos State, the Center of Excellence, and to me, of course, as a Lagosian.
Okay, part of the function of the media is to set agenda, you know, to also help to establish values. And in establishing values, the media plays the role of, you know, identifying icons, bright lights in society. Just as at the same time, the media, you know, emphasizes important values that should be emulated. So, in this regard, any award at all, whether at the level of CEO or tech or whatever, serves the purpose of, you know, reminding the society of those persons who have distinguished themselves so that the rest of society can begin to formulate a body of ideas and values about what is important to society. And I think to a large extent, you know, the THISDAY awards, the nominees that have been named, the winners that have been identified, fit into that category. This is a process that started last week, publishing one category after the other. What the THISDAY editors have now published is what they call the final category. We had commented previously on the other nominees. There's no point repeating what has already been stated in the public domain. However, what is significant about this latest publication in the newspaper today about Lifetime Achievement Awards, there was an omission in the list that was published previously. All the nominees were male. There was no female there. So I think what the THISDAY editors have done today is to correct that imbalance by showing that, well, apart from the Woman of the Year, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who was so named by THISDAY Board of Editors, there are also women who are most deserving of a Lifetime Achievement Award. Justice Miriam Aloma Mukhtar, you know, first female Chief Justice of Nigeria. And by the way, there's nobody on that list that is a silent achiever. These are persons who have been in the public domain, they are, you know, in the better part of their career, and who have been noticed on the basis of the impact that they have made in their, you know, chosen individual careers. How can we say, you know, Justice Aloma Mukhtar has been silent? I mean, she was Chief Justice of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That's not a small position. And in that regard, a trailblazer for other women that made it to important positions on the bench, either at the Court of Appeal level or at the Supreme Court bench or at lower levels within the society. So she's most deserving of a Lifetime Achievement Award. Now, Lady Maiden Ebro, chairperson of the Guardian newspapers, chairperson of Sheraton Hotels, chairperson of so many things, who helped to build the Guardian into an institution. Well, if I want to comment on Mrs. Maiden Ebro, I will take the whole day because I was there on the ground at the Guardian. You know, when she came and turned the place around, the details of which I need not go into. And after Mr. Alex Ebro's death, she has remained a pillar of support, not just for the company, but also as the matriarch of the Alex Ebro family. And in the public space, she's been very active in other activities, in the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria, in the University of Ibadan Alumni Association, and that Alumni Association attended her 75th birthday to honor her. Is it Mrs. Eniola Fadayomi that we will say, you know, has not made her contribution? She has. She was chairman of AfriBank PLC. You know, again, in that regard, you know, falling into the category of women who have led very, you know, serious boards of companies in this environment. Before then also, she was Attorney General, Commissioner of Justice in Lagos State. And you know what that means to be, you know, Attorney General. Very important responsibility. At the federal level, the only position that is expressly recognized in the Constitution within the Federal Executive Cabinet. Or is it Senator Desi Danjuma, who represented Edo South 2007 to 2011 in the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I know he's a noted philanthropist in her own right. She's 72, but even at 72, she continues to impact. And then, of course, you had Alhaji Muhammad Ayatudin there, who was, right at the beginning of the privatization and commercialization process in Nigeria and helped to fashion out, the original template at the beginning of that process. He wanted at the time to be president of Nigeria, but that didn't go, the way Nigerian politics is. But these are persons who have devoted their, lives to a lifetime of service. But the more important point is about the balance that is emerging. As for the game changers, well, you have governors there. Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State, Governor Peter Mbah, Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, Mr. Wale Edun, the coordinating minister of the economy, Mr. Nuhu Ribadu, the national security advisor. Well, some of those names have appeared under other categories, like Governor of the Year. And then there may be controversies about, the choices, whether Mr. Ribadu, as national security advisor, has been able to reduce the security threats, and whether Mr. Wale Edun and the reforms to which the administration is committed, can receive their pass marks. But more importantly is the sports category, where the Tigress, also again balancing the game, recognizing women. The Tigress, I pointed out when I was doing a review of the year, that, they did us proud at the Paris Olympics when they went as far as the quarterfinals of the Paris Olympics. The first African female basketball team to achieve that feat. And it was on the strength of that Reha Wakama, the coach of the Tigress, was recognized as the best female basketball coach, at the Paris Olympics. So these are very deserving. So we seem, with this latest publication this morning, to have a more rounded, a more gender balanced, award, by this day. Now, the event is on January 27, and we look forward to the celebration. But the residual point, of course, is that when people are recognized, where they are encouraged, they are motivated to do more. And the media, performing part of its original function, will seem to be in order in this regard, even though those days when this process started, we used to criticize and say the media has no business giving awards. Why give awards to the people you criticize? But over the years, before our very eyes, it became an established tradition. And you find many media houses doing more or less the same thing.
I think it's a very welcome tradition as well, because ultimately, at the end of the day, if you look at some of the winners and nominees, it's about creating conversation. It's about inspiring people to think broadly about people in our leadership positions and people who are choosing to take destiny into their own hands and craft a lifetime in this sense for the Lifetime Achievement Awards, or who are choosing to be progressive in their various areas of influence. So I think it's a very important conversation, especially one as we start the year. Like Ayo said, last year was a difficult year, and we're hoping to start this year on a note that can remind people that through the challenges, through the hardship, there's still a light at the end of the tunnel, and we're still capable to overcome. Now, of course, the inclusion of women into the Lifetime Achievement Awards is very close to my heart. And as we've looked at the glowing CVs and the glowing biographies of these women, I think it's also important to remember that the work-life balance conversation can never expire and can never be overflogged, because these are all family women. And as they were achieving all of these things, they were still somehow raising children, running homes. So for me, it makes these awards that much more profound, because that balancing act is not for the faint-hearted. And especially for you to still emerge at the helm of your respective industry is absolutely phenomenal. And it's something that women like myself, young girls coming up, can look towards and know that we can stand on the shoulders of these women. You look at the story of Lady Maiden Ibru from a human angle, and you see the challenge of somebody who was, she was already in the corporate world, but she then became widowed, and then she took over the mantle from her husband and ran the helm of affairs. And we know the challenge it is to be a matriarch, but look at how she has waxed strong. Look at how the Guardian newspaper and her various other business interests have continued to flourish. So that speaks to the role of mothers, the role of women, especially in the workplace and the marketplace as well. And she's also she has some Greek heritage to her as well. And I love that she also carries that along and celebrates it. In 2007, the Greek Parliament conferred on her the Golden Cross of Welfare. And in 2012, the Orthodox Pope of Alexandria, Egypt and Africa conferred on her the ladyship title of the Cross of St. Mark. Of course, this is what makes her Lady Maiden Ibru. And here in Nigeria, she has been celebrated severally, as she also is an awardee of the National Award MFR, the Member of the Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Then you look at Senator Daisy Danjuma and her passion for girl-child education. Through her foundation, she has built countless hostels, especially for young women, for students in various areas across the country. So as much as she is passionate about philanthropy, there's a passion for girl-child education there. A legal luminary, a thriving politician. She has navigated so many different areas and left her fingerprint in each of those places. She has made a mark, an indelible mark in each of those places. Now, very quickly, sports personality. Again, we're celebrating the woman. Tigress. The world of female basketball is tough. It's something that I've followed for a while. And when you look at the way the United States team does it and the amount of investment that goes into it, we know that for some of these sports, women are still the underdogs. So the attention and the funding they get is nothing in comparison to what their male counterparts get. And this is also the case for Tigress of Nigeria. But many of these women who play internationally for their various clubs are so committed, and no matter what, will make sure they fly from wherever they need to fly from in the world to represent Nigeria. Now, at the Paris Olympics, they were the first African team of any gender to qualify to the quarterfinal. Unfortunately, they were then knocked out by the USA Dream Team, but it still speaks to the fact that we remember what an embarrassing outcome the Olympics were. But there was still this team who hadn't been given all they needed. They didn't have all the support. They didn't have all the structures. They didn't have all the funding. But guess what? Their spirit, their indomitable spirit still dominated, and they were still able to bring back some glory home. And of course, a special mention to their coach, Rena Wakama, who was then named the best female coach, basketball coach at the Olympics overall. So just a testament of, the underdog coming to the fore, coming and making the nation proud, making Africa proud, and hopefully this will set a signal for them to be taken more seriously moving forward and garner more interest in investing in this entity moving forward. So we continue to celebrate all of our nominees and our winners as well, and we count down to the 27th of January.